guys are the cool kids. I normally don't get to ride with them. But on my way home from Wild Hogs, they were in there, so I hitched on. They dropped me off right at my front. When I first started my YouTube channel, I was using it as a platform to catalog group rides that I was doing. Some of these fast group rides, just with the sights and sounds of cycling, no commentary, no teachable moment, just that ASMR style experience that I'm posting these days at least once a week. Shortly after that, the pandemic hit, the world stopped, and we had a whole host of people who seemingly overnight decided that they wanted to become cyclists. I got involved with an organization where we were helping new cyclists learn how to do cycling the right way by teaching them the fundamentals, and my focus shifted. I started using the channel as a platform to catalog those basic lessons that we were transferring to those cyclists so that anybody who wanted to tap into it had access to the information. Today, here we go again. It does feel like we're in the middle of a new cycling boom. At least on social media, that's the appearance I'm getting. And honestly, I love it. I'm here for it. I'm especially loving the newer channels documenting their journey from the very beginning. That content is relatable, it's honest, it's exciting, and yes, I'm watching it as well. But with every new wave of riders, the old heads come out of the woodwork, and oftentimes they're going to tell you what not and what for. But please don't listen to the folks who are telling you that manufacturers are innovating the sport away because they're creating solutions to problems that don't exist just so that they can sell you stuff. Is there a lot of innovation in the sport these days? Yes, some of it unnecessary, I'd even say. But is it ruining the sport? It is not ruining the sport. There's a lot of moving parts in cycling, and at times it can become a little bit overwhelming. But I have never met anybody who decided to not be involved in cycling because there was way too much innovation and it was just driving them crazy. Cycling has always had a learning curve because there's levels to this thing, but I think that's part of what makes it so much fun. So if you're new to cycling, getting back into the sport, or trying to figure out after some time where you fit in, here are a few things for you to keep in mind. Progress isn't linear and neither is cycling, but that's normal. One day you'll feel like a superhero and the next day you're wondering who replaced your legs with wet noodles. Your fitness builds in waves. You'll have breakthroughs and you'll have days where nothing clicks. Don't let the bad days convince you that you aren't improving. You are, but your body just needs time to adapt. So be patient with yourself and realize that as a cyclist, you have an ecosystem which is comprised of your fitness, and those would be your strength as well as your cardio. Then there's your general sense of health, and your nutrition always affects how you ride, both on and off the bike. That old adage that we have as cyclists where we're like, man, I didn't feel good on the bike today. That's a mystery to be solved for the ages. And then the last component of your economy as a cyclist would have to do with your equipment. But remember, and this brings us to the second point, it's not your bike that makes you a cyclist. Riding your bike is what makes you a cyclist. And no, you don't need the newest group set, the lightest or latest wheels, or fanciest aero helmet to be a cyclist. You become a cyclist by riding. If you want the fancy stuff, certainly go get it. No harm or foul there. You're not going to find any gatekeeping of anybody's wallet on this channel. But don't let anyone tell you that your gear defines your place in the sport. It does not. This is what I would prioritize: a bike that fits you properly, including and especially the saddle, and a bike that you like to ride. Aesthetics doesn't hurt either. A bike that you like to look at motivates you to want to get out there and ride. Next, a clean and efficient drivetrain that shifts well all the time. When you have issues with your shifting, it can kind of like discourage you, and it makes cycling a little bit more of a chore. So make sure that you get one that's working properly. And then lastly, a good set of tires. Tires are becoming more and more important as they become more and more advanced in the sport, but get the right type of tires for the terrain that you like to ride on, both that are durable and that are efficient. Yeah, you're going to need a good platform to build upon. Speaking of tires, there's a lot of noise out there about tire pressure, carbon layup, rim width, and aero gains. I would backshelf all that noise for now and master the basics. And these would include, but are not limited to, how and when to shift smoothly, how to brake for emergencies, and how to brake under normal conditions. Learn how to corner confidently, how to ride in a straight line, how to fuel your rides regardless of distance and intensity. Master these and everything becomes easier, especially as we delve into talking about group riding. Now, I'll make videos about group riding, and inevitably somebody's going to jump into the comment section to announce that they only ride solo. But I see you watching. But you know what else happens? We get a fair amount of people in the comment section and also personal notes sent to me, and I'm sure to other YouTube channels that do this type of content, who say that they get a lot out of these types of videos, and it encourages them to at least get out there and try, which is one of the biggest reasons why I do this. I believe that a lot of new cyclists want to do it. Joining a group ride for the first time certainly comes with a lot of trepidation. We're nervous about doing it. Trust me, we all were nervous about doing it for the first time. Even to this day, when I consider the prospects of riding in a different environment with different people or joining a new ride, I get a little bit nervy about it as well. But a key thing for me is that if you really get good at group riding, it really does help to round out your skills as a cyclist. Aside from the social aspect, many riders like the safety and numbers aspect of group rides. This is very dependent on where you live. I'm well aware that every area is not conducive to large group rides, but South Florida manages to make it work, and your area may be very different. In group rides, you'll learn how to hold the wheel, how to communicate, how to rotate and share the work, and how to be predictable. It's not always about being fast, but riding with a group, you will be faster than riding by yourself, and that certainly does offer a little bit of a thrill. I would start out by finding a no-drop ride, introduce myself to the leader, and let them know that I'm new. You'll be surprised at how welcoming most groups are. Other really significant points to consider if you're a new cyclist is learning how to fuel your body the right way. Nutrition is much more important in cycling than new cyclists believe that it is. It's not just what you do when you're on the bike on the ride, but also how you fuel yourself pre-ride, post-ride, and throughout the day. Cycling is one of those sports that you can't just get out there and go for a quick jog without anything in your stomach. In cycling, you need to make sure that you're providing your body with the fuel that it needs, not only for the length, the duration of the ride, but also taking into consideration what the climate is like. Is it super hot where you need to make sure that you don't bonk or you don't dehydrate your system? So you've got to learn, and it's a little bit of a trial and error system because what works for one person may not work for you, but you've got to experiment with different things to find out what your sweet spot is in terms of nutrition and the proper intervals. The other point that I want you to consider is maintenance. Maintenance is not optional in cycling. You need to learn the basics of maintenance. And yes, there's certainly some new advents to the sport like tubeless tires and things like that. Now, that does not absolve you from needing to know how to change a flat tire. At least learn how to change a flat tire. Learn how to keep your drivetrain clean. That's very important. And something that merits a lot of consideration is staying on top of your touch points, that being your handlebar, your saddle, and your pedals. Neglecting the maintenance of those three areas can lead to incremental discomfort and ultimately injury. So make sure you learn how to deal with those aspects of your cycling properly. And the last thing I want to leave you with is an old business admonition: compete, don't compare. Compete with yourself. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Don't focus on somebody else's journey, that being what they're able to do on the bike, their fitness, the distance, the adventures they're going on, and certainly not the idea that somebody's getting a new bike every year. You don't necessarily need to follow that trend. Compete with yourself. If anything, focus on where you are and incrementally work on plans that'll build to help you become better, and set goals for yourself that'll inspire you to get out there and ride and train and take better care of yourself. All right, guys, I believe that's where I'm going to leave it. I appreciate you. Continue to watch our videos, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And as always, our aim here is to inform, instruct, inspire. Be blessed.